Hey guys, in this video we're going to be learning about generics in Swift. Now generics are a very useful feature in Swift, and most of Swift standard libraries actually built with generics. But what they basically are is they let you write flexible and clear functions and you avoid duplicating. But because the intent of your function is clear and because the intent of your program is clear, you do not have to write the same function over and over again for different types. So we're going to learn this with an example. So the first thing we're going to do is make a Swift playground. We're going to call this generics. Alright, so say you want to make a function which finds the maximum between the two values, say two integers. So I'm going to say function maximum. It's going to take in a, which is of type int, and b, which is again of type int, and it should return an integer which is basically going to be the maximum of the two values. So I'm going to say return in case a is greater than b. I'm going to say return a, else you should return b. So it was a very simple program where it's a very simple function where it returns the maximum of the two integers. So if I want to use it here, I'm going to say maximum. I'm going to pass in 2 and 4, and when I run this program, it should give me 4 as the answer because the bigger value between 2 and 4 is 4. But what if I wanted to change this to say 2.333 and 4.6454, whatever. So when I try to run this, it's going to say cannot convert type double into expected type integer because the type that I've given in the function definition is integer. And this creates a problem because if I really want to find the maximum between any type of values, say double, float, or integer or anything, I cannot do it until I write specific functions that pertains to that type. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this function into a generic. What generic is basically a general prototype of a function where you express your intent rather than the type of the intent that you want to do. So to convert it into generics, it's very simple. Within the same function, we're going to edit it a bit. So we're going to say next to maximum, open an angular bracket. I'm going to say t, which is then going to be the name of our type, and it should conform to type comparable. That means I'm telling that any of the parameters that I pass will have the same type so that I can compare them. And it's very important because I have to use comparable if I want to use the greater than, less than, or equal to operators. So I'm going to close this angular bracket, and here the only changes that I need to do is change all the integers to t because it's going to be of type t, which is undefined right now, but it's conforming to the type comparable. So I'm going to say a is of type t, b is also of type t, and it should return a t. Now when I do this, this whole maximum function becomes a generic. I can use any type inside it and it's going to give me a result. So now I've used 2.333 and 4.544, whatever, and it's returning 4.54, even though I've not said specifically that maximum only takes in a double. This maximum function is of type generic, and I can pass in any value that I want of any type, the only constraint being that both the types have to be the same so that I can compare them. So I'm going to pass in, say, f, and in b, which is the second value, I'm going to pass in g. And so when I run this program, you can see because G being the bigger alphabet is going to come as the output, since I'm using a ternary operator here to find out which is the maximum value. That's how simple and useful generics are. And to prove to you that Swift standard library really uses a lot of generics, this exact same maximum function is actually pre-built. It's again of type comparable, and it takes values x, which is comparable, and y, which is comparable. So again, if you do 4 and 5 here, it's gonna return me 5 because 5 is a greater value. Swift standard library is full of generics. There are functions like swap and maximum, and once you read throughout the book or if you see more tutorials, you'll understand. So that's been it. If you guys like this video, if you learned something about generics in Swift, be sure to hit the like button down below, and also subscribe to this channel if you want to see more tutorials like this in the future. I guess that's been it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.